Hi friends, fans, foodies, and followers. You're watching What's Cooking with Chef Kai. Tonight we're going to do something near and dear to my heart. Steak with mushrooms and cheese. So let's get rolling. We're going to go through the short list on ingredients so you guys can dive in and get cooking. Asparagus, the woody ends cut off. We've got some fingerling potatoes, butter and plenty of it, an assortment of fresh herbs. I've got rosemary, thyme, and some chives. Some cloves o' garlic. We're gonna leave them whole tonight. I know, what a thought. Some really good soft aged cheese. This is a triple cream blue cheese. Salt and pepper as always. And then baby portobello mushrooms. You can use any kind of mushroom you want. Filet Mignon, right? Like the best steak in the world. Super tender, super lean, gorgeous chunk of meat. Pick this up from your local butcher. Have them trim anything off that you don't want on there. Let the butchers do their work. They're good at it, and then give you exactly what you want. So let's get started on the preparation for this. It's really straightforward and simple. I'm gonna go ahead and get the spuds going first, right? So take a pot, mass cred to my old chef buddy, Chad Bergman. He taught me this method on spuds, and it works great. It flavors them up awesome. You can do it on any kind of potato. It works really good on these fingerlings. So salt them like you believe in them. Salt them
like you believe in them.
Put a bunch of salt in there. We're gonna cover it with cold water. We're gonna pop it on the burner, turn it on medium heat, start checking it when it comes up to a high simmer. We're not gonna go full on rolling boil with that. We're just gonna try and get it up to that simmer, check and see if they're done. When they are, we'll drain them, add some butter, some fresh chopped chives. It's gonna be bomb. Next, the meat. These particular cuts have been sitting out for about an hour at room temperature. You may notice they're getting a little bit of a skin on them. That's good, we want that. That skin is what's gonna sear. It's forming a pellicle now, and when we sear it, it'll give us a much better product. So again, we're gonna salt this bad boy with some purpose, right? Get a lot of grains on there, make sure you get some on the edges. Good way to do that is just kind of roll it on the plate. It picks up any of the spills there. And then flip it over, do it again. Roll it around a little more. Pick up any salt off the plate. And pepper, cracked black. You can go as light or as heavy as you want on this. You can leave it off altogether. Pack it on there a little bit. I like it just for the little fiery sensation that it brings to the palate. Now we're gonna jump to the mushrooms. Baby Bella's, really meaty, hearty mushroom. We're gonna go about 3/8 of an inch slice on them. You can go thinner if you want, but it's really gonna make them kind of slime out in the pan. That's the best way to describe it, right? You get those mushrooms that are kind of waterlogged and a little bit mushy. The cooking method on these, we're gonna want to have them maintain their structural integrity when they're going on top of this steak. So, slice them about 3/8 of an inch thick. If you want to go thicker, you can. You could even quarter them if you like a bigger, kind of even chunkier mushroom bite in there. But these bad boys are going to cook in butter, so you know they're going to taste good, obviously. Next, the woody ends have been trimmed. You need to do nothing else with these. We're going to roast these in the pan that we cook the steak in as we're resting our steak. So it's going to make it super tasty. Cheese, next. So you could use a triple cream brie, you could use a double cream brie, you could use just a regular old brie. Any soft cheese will work for this. Things that don't work great are like Parmesan, harder cheeses that are harder to melt. You want to use something that's going to have a really good melt and kind of just enrobe the whole dish in this cheese. So next we've got some rosemary and thyme. We're not going to do anything with those, as well as the garlic cloves. They're going to go in with our cooking procedure. However, we are going to chop a little chives. Like I said, we're going to do some chive butter on the potatoes, and so we'll need fresh chives for it. So go as big or small as you want. I usually like to kind of keep it in order and do maybe a 1/4 inch of each. Right? Springy chives, you know they're good and fresh when they jump all over the place. All right, cool. All right, time to get cooking. We're gonna jump over on the burner. All right, guys, let's get with our garnishes on this steak. The filet mignon with mushrooms and cheese. We're gonna start with a little butter in a non-stick skillet. This is for the shrooms. Once the butter melts out a little bit, we're gonna actually add a little salt and pepper to the pan. before we actually put the shrooms in there, we're gonna sprinkle a little bit of salt in the bottom of the pan. We're not looking to burn up that butter before we get the shrooms in there. We're gonna take our time with them, let them get golden and delicious. Mushrooms, everybody in the pool. Now, we don't wanna crowd it too much, right? There's a bunch in here. So let's spread them out as best we can. It's amazing how much they shrink down when they start cooking off. We're just, we wanna get a little color on them. Color is flavor, caramelization is flavor. So just kind of spread those out just a little bit. I've got the heat on like a medium heat, just a straight medium heat. And it looks like we're starting to color on a few of them, right? Yeah, see that? So they're starting to curl inwards a little bit. That's good. It means the temperature's right. We don't want to cook them to mush, right? Even though they're mushrooms. You ever thought of that? At this point, I'm not afraid to kind of let these continue doing their thing, remembering to toss them a little bit every once in a while, just for the next couple minutes. Then we'll kill the heat on them and really pay attention to this one. But for now, I'm gonna crank the heat up on this thing. I'm not gonna go all the way up to 11. I'm probably gonna go to like 8.5. So I'm gonna kill the heat on these mushrooms. They're looking really good. I don't know if you can see them texturally, right? They're soft, they're pliable. They've got some color. They've broken down and shrunk quite a bit. They're gonna be great underneath that cheese. So I'm gonna kill the heat on these bad boys. And this pan's getting hot in a hurry. You can see there's some smoke rolling off of it. So to get it started, I'm gonna add just a few little drops of vegetable oil in there, and that's only just to assure that nothing sticks when it goes in there. We got our heavily seasoned filet mignon over here, right? Good sizzle. That's what we're looking for right there. And I press them down into the pan a little bit. Don't mess with them. Let them self-release. Let them go. We want to give them as much time on each side as we can so we get that good crusty beef sear on them. How do you like your steak cooked? It's a big question. Everybody has asked me over the years, how do you judge that? You can do it by hand. So clench your fist really tight, and that webbing right there between your first and thumb, that'd be a well done. If you keep it clenched but not tight, that's a medium well. If you open it up about halfway, there's a medium. And just completely, totally relaxed, that's like medium rare. We talked about the whole cloves of garlic earlier, and we're gonna address those now. So that, along with the fresh thyme and fresh rosemary, are gonna go in this pan, flavor the oil. But one thing we're certainly gonna need in here is butter. So all the garlic in there, like 3 good sprigs of rosemary and like 3 or 4 good sprigs of thyme. Yeah, that ought to do right there. Right, you get those in there, man, this kitchen is smelling so good. So now we're gonna add butter, right? It's gonna help on that first side. Again, we haven't flipped the steak yet. It's gonna help get some good browning on that first side of the steak. And of course, the herbs and garlic are gonna flavor that butter quite a bit. The steam that's escaping from the butter is gonna kind of sear up the sides of this a little bit, right? Because it's really hard to sear the edge of this without burning yourself. And again, this pan is blazing, so I'm gonna check the heat on it. Okay, let's give these steaks a check here. I'm gonna try and lift it off the pan, and if it comes up effortlessly, right, it means it's time to flip it. So we got a really good sear on that, right? Super nice. That burned butter in the pan is really gonna flavor these steaks and caramelize them really nicely. It's fine if the garlic's burning. It's fine if the rosemary is burning. You want that to happen. You want the oils to release from everything and really punch it home with those steaks. Take a peek at these mushrooms, right? They cook down by about half. They're fully cooked. They maintain their shape. They got a great color. Gonna be awesome on this steak. So, all right, let's take a look now. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You see all that crust we're getting on there? It's gonna be great, you guys. Now, at this point, I'm gonna drop the heat a little bit because I know that I'm gonna throw the asparagus in here to cook it up, and I don't want it to be nearly as blazing hot as this is. While it's resting, we're gonna use the heat of the steak, the little bit of heat remaining in the mushrooms, to melt the cheese that we sliced earlier, and then we'll slide this onto the plate to go along with the asparagus and the fingerling potatoes. So yes, yes. Look at those beauties. Okay, so steak on the plate right here, right? In the meantime, we're gonna get this asparagus and get it in this pan. This pan's still blazing hot. It's got tons of flavor from all the herbs and steak drippings and butter and everything we put on it. This isn't gonna take very long to cook, so let's just do this. Okay, shrooms on top of steak. Just like this. Yes, there's gonna be some that jump ship, that's fine. Like such. And then we're gonna get that delicious double cream blue. And put that on there. Hopefully it kind of captures some of those mushrooms. All right, just like that. Awesome. No heat. I'm just gonna let it rest. You can feel the heat coming up through it, so it's okay to kind of press that cheese down on there. All right, let's address our asparagus a little bit. Starting to color up some. That's really good. And I'll show you another really kind of a cool trick here. If your steak is misbehaving, right, and it's not melting as fast as you want it to, I'll show you kind of a cool thing we can do. So I'm just keeping this moving so it doesn't get any spots where it's getting overly cooked, overcharred, anything like that. So some people like their asparagus cooked to mush. I like mine pretty firm. I like a little crisp to it, a little snap to it, but not so much that you can't chew through it. Okay, I'm gonna kill the heat on that. And I think the asparagus is good. Yep. So we're gonna pull that off the pan. Oop. Jump ship. Right, it's got some color, got some seasoning. We'll probably sprinkle a little more salt on it just to be safe, right? We want everything tasting good. So we're gonna set the asparagus over here. So our cheese is melting a bit, but not as fast as we want it to. Keep in mind this pan is blazing hot. Don't recommend this without a hot pad. But we're gonna use the heat of that pan kind of over the top of our steak. We're not touching it. We're just kind of holding it over it, suspending it over it. And hopefully some of that heat kind of forces its way downward into that steak. Oh yeah, it's getting there. Slowly but surely. Anyways, we're about to go to the plate with this, guys. I'm gonna give this just a couple more seconds to melt, and we're gonna plate it up, and you guys are gonna enjoy a delicious mushroom and cheese filet mignon. Okay, folks, melty cheese, portobello mushrooms, nothing wrong with that. I'm gonna grab a few of these spuds that we cooked, the fingerling potatoes, get them on the plate first. Then we're gonna add a little bit of the butter right over the top. That's probably enough of that. All right, let's get some asparagus and get it on here. It's got a good char to it, seasoned well. It's gonna be super tasty. Steak's gonna kind of cover up this area right here. All right. And then don't forget, we had some potatoes that jumped ship. We're gonna cut this so we can take a look at the inside and see just how we did as far as the degree of doneness inside. Oh yeah, gorgeous. It's got a really nice sear on the outer edge, nice and pink in the middle, really juicy. The resting time was nice. There's not juice running all over everything. So hands down, one of my top 3 preparations for steak. I love it smothered in mushrooms and soft cheese. There's nothing wrong with that. Hey, we're gonna go take a bite of this, and I really appreciate you guys playing along. Thanks for hanging out. Hit me up at Chef Kai on Facebook or Chef_Kai_Loop on Instagram. Look forward to hearing from you guys. If you have ideas, put them in the comments, and make sure you follow the channel. Thanks a bunch. Chef Kai signing off. We'll see you again soon.